Hello everyone, and welcome back to Real Tales. There was a bit of a break, but we are back on tracks. Today's story is unbelievable. Oh, and there is an update. Be careful because this is a trigger warning story. Friend is cheating on husband. Hurts our friendship, but it's a delicate situation. This is going to be a long post, but I need to share the relevant details or I won't be able to explain why this is so awkward. I'm pretty sure my friend is cheating on her husband and doesn't seem to know she's in the wrong. But maybe I should be more understanding due to her past. Looking for advice from men and women. I've cross-posted to an overwhelming subreddit too for a different perspective. For some background, I have been good friends with this woman for several years, meeting once or twice a week and staying in contact on the phone and online. She shared a lot of personal information with me over the years, and despite being a lot older, she seems to look up to me and always values my opinion. She's intelligent but also kind of spaced out, scatterbrained, and makes mistakes a lot. In short, she accidentally messaged me when she meant to message a guy. About a month ago, I hadn't heard from her in a while. We'd both been busy, but I suddenly got a bunch of text messages at once from her. I opened it up and saw messages about not meeting up anymore and cutting off our friendship, which seemed alarming, so I scrolled up further. Saw things like love spending time in bed with you and I only did this so I could be better for my husband. I immediately knew this wasn't for me and scrolled to the top and saw Dear Matt. I stopped reading here as it was private and told her that she made a mistake and was messaging me instead. She apologized, but then a few hours later continued to message me with insults that she intended for Matt. I left it at that for a few days, quite disturbed, but then curiosity got the better of me and I read the rest of the messages. I told myself she should expect that if she's not careful, but I still feel guilty as if I snooped. But I found this revelation very disturbing and I'm having trouble wanting to meet with her because I really can't stand infidelity. And I'm disappointed in her. I've lost a friend over this before. I know her husband and her have had intimate problems in the past, but this is not the way to go about fixing it. I know she wouldn't tell him because he would react badly. I know she would be devastated if it happened to her too. The gist of the messages is she was seeing this guy and obviously having intimate rapport with him. She said it has been 2 years. That could mean they have been together 2 years, or the cheating happened 2 years ago. Not sure, and was now angry with him for restricting time to see her when she wanted to spend even more time with him. She was claiming he used her and makes her feel dirty since he's keeping distance. Not sure what she expected. At the same time, she claims she only used him so that she could learn to open up and be better for husband intimately, since her husband hasn't been intimately attracted to her for a while, but otherwise is very loving and caring towards her. Now the reason this is complicated is because she has mental health issues and has been sending me emails about her having a mini PTSD episode and panic attacks. She has told me about a single overwhelming incident when she was a teen, so I believe she's referring to that. I asked her if someone hurt her recently and why she is having PTSD. She said it's not that serious, just feeling violated. She can really overreact, and with the angry messages to this guy, I think she is suddenly after the fact claiming he used her and that's why she feels violated. But it was obviously a mutual and consensual relationship that she was having fun with. The guy probably pulled back because he started to sense her getting too close or overbearing, because I know she is like that. Even with me, I haven't called her out or expressed my thoughts because she looks up to me so much that if I express any distaste, I'm afraid it might put her over the edge into a severe panic attack. She self-hospitalized herself before because of suicidal thoughts. I've just been responding to her enough to know she's safe but not giving much else. She wants to see me this weekend, so I might go out with her just to appease her, but I hate the dishonesty of acting like everything is normal. I've just spoken to her by text enough to make sure she's getting professional help and make sure she's okay. But I've otherwise been distant and deflecting requests to hang out. I don't need the extra stress due to my own health problems. Should I just continue as I am, pretending things are normal until she is in a better mental state? Ignore it completely as it's not my business? Should I be there for her as a friend and ignore my morals? Thanks a lot for reading and for any advice you can give. And now to the update. My friend was cheating on husband. Plans to accuse friend with benefits publicly. Long post. So my friend and I ended up speaking more because she seemed a little more stable. I thought I was the one giving the cold shoulder, but it turned out she was withholding details on purpose. I asked again to be sure to tell me if she was harmed, or if she's in danger, and she was clear to me that he never harmed her intimately or otherwise, or verbally overwhelmed her. However, she feels violated in her body, and she says after thinking about it now he acted sociopathic towards her. Whatever that means. However, it took her 2 years to come to that conclusion. She said it was great at first, but later she got waves of negative emotions about it. Yet continued to see him. He didn't have any authority over her. He's not that much older and they don't work together. But she believes he saw her as weak prey because she already has depression and self-esteem issues. and used his skills of intelligence and psychology knowledge on her, solely based on the fact he took some easily available university courses. I haven't met the guy, so I don't know if that's true or if he's just a normal guy who thought he was having a fun casual relationship that got out of hand. I know it's creepy, but I was able to find his dating profile. He wrote a lot on there and had a lot of set-up questions answered. And I didn't find any red flags. Anyone can lie, of course, but he seemed pretty normal, just a divorced guy with kids looking for a new long-term relationship. He even said in his answers he wouldn't hook up with a married person unless everyone knew. Had open relationships. She plans to go to the school board where he works and file a complaint against him as an overwhelmer of women and misogynist. She worries for the kids he teaches and what they might pick up. In my mind, this is not any kind of assault, and I worry what it might do to his career. I don't think she'll go to police, as she probably knows better. I take accusations like that seriously, and I feel like it's not only wrong to the guy but to other women who experience serious forms of assault and overwhelming, including herself. I believe she's honest about her current emotions because she's very unstable and was hurt once when she was young, so she may be triggered by her own perception of the event. She's admitted that her memories of the duration of the affair are being tainted by current emotions of the breakup, which happens. I understand that as an anxious person myself, but it makes her claims less valid in my opinion. I tried gently to get her to wait until she at least gets advice from professionals before making such a serious claim, but she told me I don't know enough about these things because I'm younger than her and don't understand how people can manipulate, though I do and have experienced it. She said she knew I would react that way and doesn't want to have that argument. Won't tell me more details because it hurts her too much to talk about. I believe her that she's in distress, but I personally think it stems from either guilt and she refuses to take responsibility for her mistake, or she has PTSD from her youth. Either way, I can't help but doubt it's this guy's fault. I don't know what to do. I tried to gently suggest, not in a blaming way but attempted encouragement, that taking some responsibility for choosing to see him would be good for her psyche, so she wouldn't feel like she has no agency and can't make decisions for herself. That didn't go over well. This might be messed up, but I think if she were single I may have given her the benefit of the doubt as my friend. But since knowing she had an affair, I feel like I don't know her anymore and she's being deceptive to everyone. I don't know if I can continue this friendship. We can't even have an honest conversation about it, but she still tries to seek me out for comfort. I want her to tell her husband and get a divorce. That's another big part of it. But I can't talk to her without prying for details and her getting triggered again, so all I do is encourage her to seek help and keep my distance. But I really don't want this guy to be wrongly accused if he's innocent. Is there anything I can do? And please tell me if I'm being a huge duck. A part of me feels like I'm too skeptical and that I'm not being supportive. What do you think? Thank you so much if you read all of that. Too long, didn't read. Friend had affair and is planning to file overwhelming complaint against the ex-friend with benefits at his workplace. Am I justified in questioning her motives, or am I part of the problem? And now let's head to the second story of the day. We were high school sweethearts. I cheated on husband of 2 years. Found a whirlwind romance and am uncertain about our marriage. I told my husband about the affair. I met someone while working abroad for a month. We are no longer in touch and I am back in my home country. The goodbye was final. I don't have any fantasies of leaving my husband for this person. Now, husband and I are in couples therapy and he is committed to the marriage, but I don't know what I want anymore. The counselor says we have a healthy and supportive relationship that needs mending, but I need to make up my mind so we can move forward. My husband is a gentle, intelligent, and interesting person. We don't have kids. We are both financially stable. We are best friends, and after 10 years we can still talk for hours and be engaged by each other. However, we're very different people. He's very in his head and introverted, and I'm a very physical and extroverted. We've made a lot of things work and I was happy, but I met someone where everything was easy. The way we spoke to each other, intimate rapport, and affection. He spoke my love language perfectly. It made me realize that I have never been physically attracted to my husband. This feeling of being understood and reciprocated made me feel complete, loved, and happy in a way I have never known. I have always felt safe with my husband and engaged by his beautiful mind, but never this deep roiling attraction and need. This experience made me feel like I have to choose between my soul and a friend, partner that is my limb. I don't want to hurt him. Am I being foolish? Am I yearning for something that isn't real? Is the feeling I felt something that ultimately disappears over time? Is it just all chemicals because I'm doing something taboo? Am I doing myself and my partner a disservice by not asking for more in our relationship? Or is chasing passion dumb? I've read a lot of books about relationships and reigniting the spark. Over the years, we've experimented with everything, for example intimate events, swinging, roleplay or other kinks, but still no passion. But everything feels clumsy or like I'm faking it. Is it because we've never had a spark to begin with? I've told him all my doubts and he still wants to be with me. He thinks we can make it work. He thinks I'm being immature and looking for something that is ultimately short-lived and a fairy tale. I feel like a child. What do I know? What questions should I ask myself to figure out my life? Can anyone help me? Too long didn't read. We were high school sweethearts. I cheated on husband of 2 years. Found a whirlwind romance and am uncertain about our marriage. He wants the relationship. I don't know if I should stay or leave because I don't know if I can have passion, romantic love, and a stable and caring relationship. And now to the third story of the day. I'm a female thinking of cheating on husband, male due to no intimate moments in our marriage. I'm thinking of cheating on my husband. I've been married for 7 years. Everything is great except we have an absent marriage. No intimate rapport. He just doesn't seem interested anymore and won't talk about what is causing this issue. It didn't start out like this. We used to go at it 3 times a day. I expected a rapport to slow down with time and life, but not to be completely non-existent. The last time we had an intimate rapport was about 2 years ago on Valentine's Day. I could tell it was such a chore for him that I just lost my mood. I started to have a low self-esteem because I wondered if maybe my husband wasn't attracted to me anymore or cheating. I became obsessed with my body and nitpicking my looks. For reference, I'm an average-size woman who actively work out and started losing so much weight that my family and friends had to intervene. I'm embarrassed to share with my close girlfriends or family because they really love my husband and they have the impression that we are okay. I don't know what to do at this point. I'm really trying to not resent my husband. Recently I switched job and met a man, let's call him Joe. Joe and I became really close working together during the pandemic. He's currently going through a divorce and is understanding of my marital situation. I am attracted to him and the feeling is mutual. Lately we've been flirting a lot with each other and he invited me to stop by his place anytime I needed to talk. We kind of both know that if I did stop by his place, it would be more. I'm scared to cross that line and mess up my relationship, but I want to be intimate with a man who wants me and I didn't sign up for a no intimate rapport marriage. Also, even though Joe is a great guy, we both are not looking to be in a relationship with each other due to our circumstances. It would be strictly physical. Is this normal to feel conflicted like this? Is the reward worth the risk? If anyone has found themselves in a no intimate moments marriage, how did you overcome it? Too long didn't read. I'm thinking of cheating on my husband due to a no rapport in our marriage with a coworker. And now to the fourth and last story of the day. My boyfriend of 8 years cheated on me with his best friend's fiance and is now begging me for a second chance. I still love him, but I don't know what to do. Throwaway cause our friends follow my main account and I don't want them to know about this. Background: I met my boyfriend in college when we had a class together. He was struggling cause of his party lifestyle, but me, being a studious introvert, was thriving. He begged me to help him and I relented eventually. I hated his guts, but for some reason, he made me fall in love with him. He was such an open book too, and waited patiently for me. I didn't let him kiss me till 4 months into dating and didn't sleep with him till our 1-year anniversary. He was my first and I really wanted to be sure I was giving my virginity to someone who truly loved me. I didn't ask him to, but he slowly gave up partying and drinking for me and we both found a new friend group in college who we've maintained to this day. He gave up everything willingly, cause he said he'd rather spend time at home with me. The one thing from his past that he didn't give up though was his childhood best friend who we'll call Max. Max always hated me. I think he blames me that he sees my boyfriend only a few times a month and that he isn't fun anymore. He also openly questions our relationship in front of both of us and says stuff like you'll come to your senses eventually when talking to my boyfriend. I told him I wasn't comfortable, so since then, he never let Max around me, but they still hung out and I really didn't mind cause I trusted him. Okay, so this is what happened recently. Max got engaged to his long-term on-again off-again girlfriend and invited both of us over to celebrate. It would have been just the 4 of us. Restrictions have been lifted in our area as long as contact and amount of people involved were kept to a minimum. I declined, which, in retrospect, was a big mistake. Boyfriend offered to stay with me, but I told him he didn't need to and I'd understand if he wanted to support Max even though I despised the guy. Again, this was a mistake in retrospect. The next morning boyfriend came home crying. He was still clearly hungover, so I bathed him and put him to bed. When he woke up a few hours later, he told me everything. Apparently, he got really drunk at the party. Max's fiance, who I guess I'll call homewrecker or homewrecker, was very flirty with him the whole night and helped him when he passed out. Next thing boyfriend says he remembers was when he woke up, homewrecker was giving him a mouth thing while he was with no clothes. He says he was too drunk and just went along with it while Max watched. According to boyfriend, they're into the whole sensual wife thing, whatever that means. Next thing boyfriend says he remembers was waking up with no clothes next to homewrecker with a bunch of used condoms around them. He rushed home after that. My heart is breaking right now, guys, and I really don't know what to do. He's been begging me for a second chance, even showing me he blocked Max and homewrecker on everything. He promised never to contact them again. He also swears to not drink when I'm not around anymore and that he'd keep his phone unlocked and I can look through it whenever I wanted, no questions asked. He kept telling me how much he regrets it and how much he loves me and that I'm the only one. Sad thing is, I believe him. This man was my first everything and I feel like my world is just crumbling around me. A few weeks ago, we were thinking about getting married and how many kids we wanted. Now, I can't even look at him without my heart breaking in two. This all happened a few days ago and I've barely left the room. He's giving me space, but he's also doing the little things that makes me fall for him again. He keeps the house clean. He's been cooking me the food I like and leaving short love notes beside it on the dinner table. I'm lost right now. I so desperately want to forgive him, but every time I look at him, I can't shake off the image of him being with another woman. I know I was never his first, but he kept promising me I was going to be his last, and he broke it. Despite everything though, deep down I still love him. Guys, I don't know where to go from here. I'm crying just typing this out, but I don't have anyone to talk to about this. Usually, when problems this big come up in my life, he's the one I turn to for help. I love him, but I don't know if I can trust him anymore. What should I do? Will couples counseling help? Should I just cut my losses and end it? He seems very remorseful, and he did confess to the whole thing immediately after. Should I give him a chance? Sorry for the long rant. I'm just lost right now. Update posted 3 days later. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for those who gave me really solid advice in my last post. A lot has happened in the last few days. Sorry I haven't been replying to any of you. I just didn't think I was in the right headspace to actually hold a meaningful conversation. Rest assured I did read all of your replies, even the really mean ones. So where do I begin? Well, I think some of you would be delighted to know that he left me for not being supportive. Sucks to be me, I guess. I guess you guys were right. I am a sucky girlfriend. He's now off to be with his brand new supportive girlfriend. Nah, just kidding, but some of you would have wanted that to happen, right? So here's what really happened. After reading some of your comments, I started to see things from a different perspective. I never really thought of it as anything other than cheating. And it didn't help that when he came home to me that morning he claimed to have cheated on me, and I guess my mind just started going to a dark place where logic goes out of the window. It's definitely not an excuse, but I really wasn't in the right mindset after he said he cheated. I guess it was after the realization that this man would never willingly hurt me is when all the anger and pain of being cheated on was washed away. I couldn't really bring myself to talk to him at first. He was on the couch blankly staring at whatever was on television. He looked empty. I sat beside him and told him I had no intentions of breaking up. Well, he came to life almost instantly, and before I knew it, his arms were wrapped around me. He was shaking and I could tell he was crying. I was too. Remember when I said I felt my world was crumbling around me? Well, for the first time in what seemed like forever, I could feel it starting to fall back into place. I didn't realize how much a simple embrace can be so calming. Everything was starting to feel right again. Then we talked. He apologized again for cheating, and when I told him I didn't think he cheated, he had a puzzled look on his face. I asked him if he gave consent and he said no. I tried to explain I guess he still doesn't realize that he was actually taken advantage of. He said the first thing that came to mind after what happened was that he cheated and was so afraid of losing me. This man, after being forced to do something, first thought of how much he betrayed me instead of how he was betrayed himself. I was floored. He said his first response had to be to win me back, which is why he's been going the extra mile the last few days taking care of me from a distance. When it was my turn to speak, I told him how sorry I was for not being supportive. I jumped to conclusions without actually thinking about it clearly, which was pretty out of character for me. A few more exchanges after that and the conversation shifted to Max and Homewrecker. I told him that I never wanted him anywhere near Max or her again, and he agreed. I've always thought he was a bad influence, but I never thought he'd take it this far, so I never stopped him from seeing his best friend. He showed me his phone, which didn't have a lock anymore. He said he blocked both of them on everything but wanted to keep the open phone policy. He said it so I can be sure he isn't back in touch with Max. I urged him to file a police report, but he was against it. He said that even if he was forced to, he couldn't bring himself to do it. I didn't really know about it at first, but his family and Max's family had a very long history of friendship. Their moms were college best friends and their dads worked together. Not only were the two of them close, even their families were close. I thought they were just neighbors, but it was more than that. I didn't know cause every time I visit his family, the topic was never brought up, and I haven't really met any of Max's family except for his little sister who came by to play with boyfriend's little brother. He said he didn't want to ruin decades of friendship and would be content with just going no contact with Max. He's getting tested later today, and I hope that bitch didn't give my man anything. I'm also pretty confident my boyfriend didn't get Homewrecker pregnant cause Max absolutely hates children, so I'd imagine Homewrecker would be on because given how many dudes she sleeps with. Boyfriend and I came to the conclusion that Max most likely set the whole thing up to break us apart so he can have his best friend back. They used to be partners in crime after all, when it came to parties and picking up women. I would like to point out that I did not force him to change. He himself chose to do so, but I know he did it for me, which just makes me fall in love with him even more. When we first met, he was still the playboy party animal he was, but he told me after hanging out with me for a few weeks that he didn't really feel like sleeping around anymore. I didn't really believe him at first, obviously. I've also noticed that a few people were bashing me for making him wait 1 year for intimate rapport. I'm sorry, I just have different views. I believe that intimate rapport is for people who love each other. so I wasn't willing to sleep with anyone I wasn't deeply in love with and didn't love me back. I don't judge people who sleep around. My boyfriend has a high body count, but I don't really hold it against him. But back then, I just wanted to be sure I wasn't just a girl he bangs or a conquest, but someone who he actually loves and sees a future with. Considering his past, I was very skeptical for a while, and I had my walls up the entire time, but he slowly tore them apart, and I'm glad he did. That reluctant yes when he first asked me out was and still is one of the best decisions I've ever made. Max's plan had the opposite effect. It's rough now, but I can see this experience making our relationship even stronger. I love him more than ever, believe it or not, and I'm sure he feels the same way. The last few days have taught us both how crappy our lives would be without the other. I guess it made us value each other more. Not that either of us took the other for granted. And yes, we are both getting therapy, both individually and as a couple. To be honest, I'm still shaken over the whole thing. Even when we cuddle, I can still imagine Homewrecker having her way with him, and I can't help but cry about it. If I'm still shaken up by the whole thing, I can only imagine how much worse it is for him, but I'll be there for him every step of the way. I know he didn't cheat. I know he won't break my heart. I know that he loves me. I know that I love him. It's hard right now, but knowing those facts makes me confident we can see this through. One Redditor pointed out that we were soulmates, and I like to think that we are. I can't see myself being with anyone but him. Thanks again for all your advice and for making me see things differently. I'll try to reply and answer questions when necessary and when I can. And this is it for today's video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe because more stories and content is coming. Thank you for being you, every day, and remember, cheating is bad.